Welcome to By His Grace Outdoors, where we talk the truth about our hunting, our health, and our heart. Here is your host, Kerry Nelson, and co-host Cody Cayson and Eli Nelson.
We'd like to welcome you to the By His Grace Outdoor podcast. We are live once again from the By His Grace Outdoor Man Cave. This is Kerry Nelson along with Cody Cayson. Eli is in the mountains on vacation with his in-laws. Cody, how's it going?
I'm doing well, Brother Kerry. Glad to be here tonight. Excited about tonight's episode.
Well, we got a lot of things we want to talk about, and so I guess we just jump right to it. We always have a three-part segment on the By His Grace Outdoor podcast. We talk about our hunting, our health, and our heart. So let's jump right into the hunting because it's very interesting what all's happening in the state of Mississippi. Our hunting this weekend is going to be surrounded by a bunch of squirrel hunters.
A little bit different than normal, yeah.
Yep, we got some squirrel hunters that are going to be coming in. We had a dear friend of ours that not only was a personal friend, but a friend of By His Grace Outdoors, Dean Wells. And Dean he's a member of Greatest Mission Baptist Church, Brother Steve Parrish, dear friend of ours. And Dean and Ann were members there. And back in the spring fishing, Dean passed away, had a heart attack and passed away. And so, we miss him. But they wanted to keep his memory alive. And one thing Dean loved, he loved to coordinate a squirrel hunt for the church every year. And he also loved By His Grace Outdoors. And so Brother Steve and the church approached me about having a By His Grace Outdoor Memorial Squirrel Hunt in memory of Dean. And we're going to do the first annual tomorrow at the weigh-ins at 11. And so we're going to have a big meal, and we're excited about that.
Well, that's exciting. I didn't personally know Mr. Dean, but I've heard good things about him, and I think that an event like that is just a great way to honor somebody and to keep his memory alive. And he would be proud to see from what I've heard, he would be so proud to see the ministry getting some use out of that.
Well, there's no fee, but donations will be accepted, and the money that is received will go toward our land leases for our hunt ministry to be able to take the disabled, take kids, pastors, all that we take. So we're excited about that. We're going to do the cooking.
Okay.
And so, we talk a little bit about that in a minute, but I won't be hunting. I'll be in the apron cooking.
Yeah, you'll be frying up everything.
Yeah. So, but, thinking about hunting and squirrel hunting, one interesting thing, of course, we love to deer hunt and take people deer hunting with this ministry. Turkey hunting, we love that. But one thing about this ministry is you find there's so many people that they don't deer hunt anymore. They don't turkey hunt anymore. All they do is either squirrel hunt. They've got them a dog.
Right.
And they squirrel hunt. Or they've got a pack of beagles and they rabbit hunt. And, of course, in the state of Mississippi, October the 1st not only opens up bow season, but it opens up squirrel and rabbit hunting.
As well.
And it goes, squirrel and rabbit hunting, goes all the way to the end of February, where deer season ends in January. But a lot of squirrel and rabbit hunters would tell you they really have that one good month of February, because most clubs and most landowners, I don't mind you hunting my land, but you got to wait till deer season.
Right. Well, I've been in some leases that actually had that in the bylaws. No dogs on the property until February 1st. You know, so a lot of folks take it serious about the dogs on their places.
And what's interesting about it is with By His Grace Outdoors, we've got property, and a lot of people say, hey man, we want to come hunt, to bring our dogs and take you on some hunts, and whoever you want to take, kids or are disabled or veterans or pastors. And so we actually started doing last year, hunts with Brother Roger Smith, a good friend of ours from Harrican, Mississippi, and taking pastors. And man, it was easy to find dogs for the rabbit hunt and the squirrel hunt because they're sitting on go for February.
Run them hounds.
That's
right.
it.
Yes.
So, but yeah, we're gonna have a great time tomorrow, and it's gonna be for a great cause. And just keeping Dean's legacy alive. And if anybody knew him, he was a man's man. He was a man that loved the outdoors. Matter of fact, one of the funniest things that was everybody said about Dean, it was a collective recollection of hunting with him. Everybody would say, if you go with Dean, you better be ready to stay. And so we'd laugh about that a lot. But he loved to hog hunt. Now, he was a big... he would come on your property and help you get rid of your hogs.
He run them with dogs too?
He did dogs and did Dean.
And
Dean
did the thermal thing.
He did, yeah. So, but yeah, he was a great friend to me and the ministry and our family, and then by His Grace Outdoors. So we're excited about that tomorrow and looking for a big number. There's a lot of teams. We got two man no dogs, and they'll be able to weigh in. Their limit, it's 8 squirrel limit per man. So they'll get to weigh in 16 of the whoever's got the heaviest weight. And then on the teams, it'll be their top 8 heaviest.
Right.
So they can have a 3-man, 4-man, 5-man team.
The biggest squirrels,
but they'll have to get
the
biggest squirrels up to 8. So it'll be got a few prizes, some door prizes, and a lot of food. So it'll be an annual thing. Next year, it's November the 1st. And it'll be held at the old Thaxton Gym here, my hometown, my stomping ground. So we're looking forward to that. But, with that being said, we're still in deer season. I think it's getting time. Everybody's getting the fever. We got a little cool weather after a rain came through yesterday. But you're actually headed to Kentucky in the morning. Tell us about that.
I am. I have always heard the stories as a kid of the land between the lakes. I know a lot of folks don't like to give out the exact places they're going, but it's 170,000 acres, so your luck is just as good as mine. So let's go hunt it together. But I went last year for just a 2-day hunt, but we had hit the rut just right, and in 2 days of hunting, I saw a 170-inch class deer. I had a 140-inch class deer at under 30 yards that come in behind me to a snort wheeze and got my wind. And one morning I saw over 10 different bucks chasing does. I mean, it was just a different, from here, in Mississippi, we get a little bit of what they call a trickle rut. Up there, it was so intense. I mean, it was crazy. So we're going a little bit earlier this year because with the deer running and doing the rut that they were doing, it would have been hard to bow hunt them. I mean, it was. So we're going a little bit early this year, hoping that we can get the deer that are still working rubs and scrapes, and going to try that tactic with them. My Uncle Joe is there now. Shout out to the legendary Big 20. He's already got a doe down, so good for him. And so he's waiting on me to get there tomorrow, and we're going to do a little scouting and try to do a little hunting. So we're excited about going to the land between the lakes.
Well, we used to be in a lease in Kentucky, and I was able to take a few kids.
Yeah.
I was able to take 3 different pastors up there, and one of our pastors, Brother Ronnie Bearfield, he killed a really good 8-point.
Yes.
And matter of fact, he is on the wall of fame here in the By His Grace Man Cave. Yeah. His picture is up, but we have to have him sometime and tell that story of how that buck came out. But yeah, Kentucky's known for a lot earlier rut, than us, and so a lot of people go hunt there. And I see a lot of people from our area, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, go there and see the pictures on Facebook.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people try to get in there, and it's really it's like a season outside of a season for Mississippi folks.
It really is. If a fella really wanted to do it, you could just about from the 1st of November up until the end of January, you could chase the rut by doing those different type of states like
and
that.
Some people do.
And some people do. Some people do. It's just a whole different class. We've got some cameras out right now, and just the size of the deer. It's just amazing how much bigger a 5-year-old buck here is versus the 5-year-old bucks we've got on camera there. It's just, I bet they weigh 75, 80 more pounds than a deer here.
Wow.
It's just it'd be exciting to get an arrow through one. I promise you that.
Well, I'm real interested in sending you with a cooler.
Well,
and so you just bring us all the meat you want, and I'll put up what you kill. I promise you.
Well, we're gonna try to run some arrows through something, and not come home empty-handed. We got a few more days this year to try to get it done, so we're gonna give it our best shot. I've been eat scouting until my eyes can hardly read any longer, at night, trying to figure out where to go, and I'm going to have a couple of days of actual scouting before we ever hunt, so I'm hopeful and excited that we're going to get it set up.
Well, and it's good you getting to hunt with your uncle,
right?
Who is as much like another daddy to you. That's not an age thing, Brother Joey, but it is just y'all have hunted together. I know with your dad, his brother is like another dad too.
Right,
y'all hunted, and then your mom's brother. You just had a lot of male influence, older men that's helped you in the hunt.
I have, and I guess that's what talking about Brother Kevin Bearfield and his Be a Legend podcast, that just kind of rung a bell with me, because I had those influential men in my life. Uncle Joey's not good at a lot of things, but he will go hunting with you. And so it's been really interesting. I'll tell you a little bit about Joey. We don't get off topic, but he spent probably 20 years in the world of rodeo, and he just quit deer hunting. And then when he got out of horses, he got into deer hunting and got a bow and just absolutely fell in love with it. He's up there now during a gun hunt, and he's bow hunting. Because he just loves that bow, So it can it can really be addictive to a person if you let it,
Well, and I know that y'all saddle hunt.
We do. We like the saddles.
It's a different, type of hunting than the norm, and I'm not only not saddle hunting, I'm not climbing hunting. I'm not a climber, so I know it's good for you to go with somebody of. We talk about this in the ministry, people of like faith that believe the scriptures, the way the scriptures are taught. And so I know it's good a lot of times to go with somebody of like hunting.
Well, the saddle hunting is a lot of fun. I'll go on record right here on the podcast and say that I'm not one of those that's going to tell you it is the most comfortable type of hunting, because I have owned Summit Vipers, and those are like recliners. I mean, those are nice. The saddles are extremely comfortable, but for a fella that just is only worried about comfort, that's not the way to go. But I'll tell you this, because I know you've messed with the climber some. My saddle equipment, I use one stick to climb the tree. My saddle, my rope, my stick, everything I need to climb that tree is sub 8 pounds. Wow. Now, if there was an 8-pound climber on the market that could climb any tree with limbs or not, I'd still have a climber. But that saddle, once I tried it out, for the type of hunting that we do, it is just just a game changer. It really is. So I tried to get my dad in it. He watched me do it one time, and he said that is a young man's game.
yeah, Bro Joe's like me. That age is crept up on him. So
let me tell you this funny story, just while we're talking about some funny hunting stories. When you're on these saddles, you're on these ropes, and your ropes are different lengths. You can get 40 footers, you can get 8 footers, but what you want to do is you want to get familiar with your equipment before you go into the woods, because some of these, the equipment that you use, if you need to get in a bind and come down the tree quickly, there's a little lever you can pull, and it'll take the slack out of your rope, and you'll just slide right down the rope. The day we bought the saddles, Joey and I ordered them at the same time. He put it on. I was watching him. He leaned back on that rope. You lean back on that rope that's connected to the tree, and when he pulled that lever, he said, "What's this do?"
Oh no!
His feet was on the ground. He was leaned back, and before he knew it, the saddle caught him. But he was looking at the sky, laying almost flat on his back. Wow. So always get engaged and get to know your equipment.
Is that the old thing? Men don't read instructions.
Just get in it and go. We don't need that book.
Who needs instructions? So, well, I'm thankful for our hunting segment tonight. We love having sponsors on the By His Grace Outdoor Podcast, and tonight the hunting section is brought to us by H&S Buildings out of Alabama. Shout out to Slim and the gang over there. Slim is he's been a blessing to By His Grace Outdoors and his company, and they build possibly the best shooting houses that I've ever been in, and he built us a handicap shooting house for us to use, and I'm telling you, if Michelle gets mad at me and kicks me out, I now have a place to live.
Well, when you said that, hey, I'm going to run over here, Slim's give us a shoot house, and then I got the picture, it is not what I had envisioned. I mean, if y'all seen those sheds that look like houses, I mean, that's what he is.
It's a tiny home.
Yeah.
And so I can't wait. I can't wait to get our handicap in it.
Yeah.
But especially Richard Stafford Jr.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait for him to get in it, because the first hunt we'll see nothing, because he's just going to be shouting and praising the Lord. Because most of the time our handicap shooting houses, sometimes they're just a little tight and getting in and out. But Slim, they have really fixed us up, and so shout out to H&S there close to Hartsville, Alabama. If you have any kind of need for a shooting house, they have all sizes, and you can get with us or get with them and get that. So, we talk about our hunting, but let's talk about our health tonight. And when we do that, we just mainly talk about eating.
Right.
We love to eat. We just had a fine
meal.
Yeah. Matter of fact, our health segment is sponsored again by Tennessee Dipping Sauce. Tennessee Dipping Sauce, Cody Doss and the gang over in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. We're now in every Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah.
So if you have a Piggly Wiggly close to you, run by there. Ask them for the Tennessee Dipping Sauce if you can't find it on the shelf. And if they don't have it on the shelf or they don't have it in their store, it is available to them at the warehouse. But it's a Tennessee Dipping Sauce. It is fine. And Michelle put some chicken breast in the slow cooker tonight and put the Tennessee Dipping Sauce in there with it, and it was fine.
It was fine. Yes, sir. It was fine.
We had some chicken with Tennessee Dipping Sauce. We had cabbage in a black cast iron skillet. We had little potatoes that I could not quit eating, and so anyway, it was a fine meal.
Well, that cabbage is fine. I wouldn't used to never touch that cabbage, but the last few years, as I've got older and wiser, it's the first thing that hits my plate now.
It is, and it's good for you. But talking about our health, let me give you this. That of course we all know that the common terminology is venison.
Right.
People just use that for whatever, wildlife, outdoor eating. We basically call it deer meat.
Right,
That's just what we say. But a friend of ours, Brother Mark Newell, who we talk about a lot and hope to have on the show when he's free, he brought back some elk meat and some red stag meat, and so I was actually out of town feeding on one of our trips, and so the men of our church met Brother Mark over here, and they processed the deer and put made a lot of burger. So we while we were in the mountains, I took some of that elk meat and made elk burger sliders.
Oh yeah.
And brother, let me tell you, man, if I don't know that I've ate sliders. Don't get me wrong, in a restaurant and places, but I never had thought about doing that with like deer meat.
Deer meat.
And that is on the By His Grace outdoor menu for 24 and 25.
Well, let me tell you a new dish that I had this week. Do you like a deviled egg?
Oh, I love it.
Okay. Well, I had a fried. And this won't be healthy, I don't think. It was a fried deviled egg elk slider. They took the deviled egg, battered it, fried it, filled it with your the other part, and then sandwiched it over a miniature little elk patty.
So they fried the white.
All
right, and then they took the yolk
and put it on one side, and then put the elk patty, and then just smashed it on top. And when I say it was fine, now
that's on the By His Grace outdoor menu now. So we'll have to try that. But to think about it, when you're talking about health and stuff. The venison meat, a lot of people are like, man, I can't eat all that. But if you ever eat it right,
you'll
want it. And how good it is for us, because this outdoor living is a good thing when it comes to our health because of what they eat, and it's all natural, and we hear the word organic all the time, but you just can't go wrong with eating venison.
Yeah, well, wild game has never been recalled, so there's
that's
a
true.
reason for that.
That's true. And well, there was one time when the government lied about, when they started lying about all these diseases. Anyway, let's don't get on that topic tonight.
CWD.
The CWD. I guess they thought we were ignorant. That bothered me more than the CWD, that they thought we thought that they knew what they were talking about. Goodness. So anyway, but I love to eat wild game. However, and it does have to be fixed by somebody that knows what they're doing.
Right.
But I have found to love the wild game sliders, and they are on the menu. So, well, we've talked about our hunting and we've talked about our health. I want to end tonight again with our heart. I don't always take too much time on this part. It's at the end. I know a lot of time when people come to the end, they're ready to get done with an episode. But I just attended one of my heroes in the faith, Brother Jimmy Russell, passed away. Brother Jimmy was really he was a contemporary of my dad. They had ministries together, and I think Brother Jimmy was around 87. My daddy would be about 90, 91. My dad passed away in 16, but Brother Jimmy was like a father to me because I grew up with his middle son, Alan, and Alan was one of my best friends growing up, and so I spent a lot of time at their home. Brother Jimmy pastored Friendship Baptist Church in Pontotoc County when I was a teenager, and if Alan wasn't at our house in Calhoun County, I was at their house in Pontotoc County, and so we spent a lot of time there. But then when God saved me, I never will forget, before God saved me, I had quit school, left home, got out on my own, thought I knew everything, and very few people would come by and try to talk me off the cliff, the cliff, but not Brother Jimmy. He'd pull in and say, "Boy, you better get yourself in order." He did. Yeah. And I never will forget that. He would stop by where I was living and just cry on me and love on me, Then when God saved me, April 8th, 1989, then May of that same year, May 19th, I surrendered to preach. And Brother Jimmy was one of the first ones to call me. Yeah. Come on, I want you to preach for me. Yeah. And I'm telling you, I butchered those days. I would hate to hear them. I would probably think, I don't know who that guy is. Brother Jimmy, he'd ag me on, even when it wasn't even close. He was just thankful that I was on a new path. Right. And he knew I was green behind the ears, so to speak. I was still wet behind the ears. I was green. I needed somebody to take me under his wing, and so I had men like him. I had men like my father. Right. I had men like Brother Don Smith, Brother Harvey Reeves, Brother Ronnie Bearfield, and then, of course, in the last 25 years, Brother Dana Williams, just men that took me under their wing and helped mature me in 35 years of ministry. But at the beginning, it was Brother Jimmy and my dad. Right. And what was funny is I didn't like what my daddy would say. Brother Jimmy said the same thing. I got it both ways. Yeah. So I was sitting at his funeral Tuesday, and Brother Don Smith was sitting beside me, and Brother Don shared a scripture with me out of 1 Samuel 20 and verse 3. And David sware moreover and said, Thy Father certainly knoweth that I have found grace in thine eyes. And he saith, Let not Jonathan know this, lest he be grieved. But truly as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, there is but a step between me and death. Right. And boy, I know you're fixing to go to Kentucky, and you're fixing to put in a lot of steps, plural. Right. Matter of fact, the Bible says the steps of a good man, steps, plural, are ordered by the Lord. But David knew something that we all need to know is, I am one step, singular, from death. Right. We're one step from death. We've already talked about Tyler on one of our episodes, but how sudden, death death comes. You know, the Old Testament talks about death's peeping in the windows.
Right.
He's peering into our life. We don't even know. So, you know, I was sitting there thinking, Brother Jimmy lived a wonderful life. I'm pretty sure 87 years, and he left a great family behind, and Miss Janice, his wife, all these years. I think some 60 some odd years they'd been married, and just great. But I was sitting there thinking, hey, at 54. I'm one step from death. Well, and we need to all be aware of that.
We need to be ready. Brother Lee Franklin said in our Sunday school class Sunday, he made a statement that he wanted to watch his children grow and he wanted to see grandchildren, but at the same time, we have to stay ready because we never know.
We never know
when it's going to be. I never expected to get a call that my brother had passed.
Right.
We were the day before texting back and forth, you know. So we never know. Like I said, we could be one step away.
Well, and you know, when we think about these things, we say, you know, we hear this said very generally, we better be ready.
Oh yeah.
You know, we say that, and I know that we. You know, whether it's subconsciously or whatever, we know that reality. I mean, you pull the obituary up today, it's not one age.
Oh,
it's all ages.
It's all over.
And I think we need to be reminded what David said. 1 Samuel 23, there is but a step between me and death. And so if I'd say anything to our listeners, you know, I'm excited about, listen, I've got a year. And when I say a year, I'm talking about from right now to the first day of May. I can show you my calendar of all of the hunters that we've lined up hunts. We've got them coming in. We've marked off places for them to stay. We've got over 15 disabled coming in a few weeks to go hunting. I'm excited about everything. I know what I'm doing in January if I'm alive, but I also know that from right now till the morning, may be the last day of my life. And so we are but a step. And if you're listening, you know, before ever even leaving your home tomorrow, make sure that you know that you're right with the Lord. And the only way to be right with the Lord, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. You must be born again, John said in chapter 3. So, you know, I'm one step away from death. To a saved man, that's not a bad thing.
Right.
But if you're not saved tonight, we want you to know that death is certain for the saved and the unsaved.
Amen.
Amen. Well, hey, been a good show, and I wish you the best going to Kentucky. Be careful. Send us pictures. Keep us updated.
Oh, yes.
And if you outdo your Uncle Joey, please video that.
I'm going to try my best to record everything that we do. So.
All right.
By His grace outdoors. We are what we are by the grace of God. 1 Corinthians 15:10.